Hello, everybody. Um, Thank you so much for coming to the first Fresh Eats with Brad and Meg. This is going to be like an information session on how to like plan meals and meal prep and things like that. So I'm Meg, and this is my coworker Brad.
Hello, everyone.
And I'm just gonna, we're gonna be doing, I have a little PowerPoint, so I'm just gonna share my screen with everybody. Can everyone see screen? Perfect. All right.
All right. For the first episode, we're going to go over how to plan meals and how to prepare your ingredients so that they can last longer.
So we're going to be covering a few different topics today. So the first is how to plan your meals efficiently. The second will be how to keep your grocery bill budget friendly. And the third will be how to prepare recipe ingredients for the rest of the week.
So before you start meal planning, there are a few things you want to keep in mind. Do not get overwhelmed with trying to plan a whole week's worth of meals. Choose only a few dinners and lunches to begin with.
So before deciding what meals you want to make, it's really a good idea to look through your pantry, your fridge, or your freezer to see like what you already have. And that way you can incorporate those ingredients that you already have into the meals that you're going to be making throughout the week, so that then you save money.
Have a place to keep your recipes for future use. Pinterest is a great and free website app where you can find tons of recipes and save them for future use. If you like to write them down in a small container or a folder, that may be useful to keep them organized, or use notes in an app on your cell phone or laptop to keep track of your recipes.
Does anyone have any questions about this? Just feel free to like unmute yourself and yell out any questions you have for us too. So, all right. So now we're going to talk about how to plan your meals. So having a day to plan your meals is very like beneficial. So for me, I like to plan my meals on like a Friday or a Saturday, and then I can go for grocery shopping on the weekend. And then you're able, so if you buy your groceries on the weekend, it's very easy to be able to prep the ingredients, and then everything will be ready for the week. But if that doesn't work for your schedule, maybe choosing like a Wednesday or a Thursday works, whatever works for your schedule, but try and have a day that like you can plan your meals and go get your groceries, and then you'll be ready for the week.
So when planning meals for the week, try to stick to simple recipes that you can make in about 30 minutes.
And when you're making meals and like planning the meals that you want to do, try and choose ones that you know your family's going to like. Like, don't choose new recipes that you don't know, or you don't need a bunch of different ingredients and stuff for, because it could be really difficult, especially if you're busy throughout the week, you get home late. So you want to try and stick to like really simple meals with simple ingredients.
So plan meals that use similar ingredients and spices so that you do not need to buy a ton of different ingredients.
And so you also want to, when you're planning your meals for the week, you want to try and plan them in order of perishability. So that means that, so some items go bad faster than others. So things that go bad really early, you want to try and use those ingredients at the beginning of the week rather than later in the week if you plan on only going to the grocery store once.
If you have a slow cooker, plan meals that you can start in the morning and they'll be ready at the end of the day. A slow cooker can be very handy for those who have a busy day and do not have to come home, check on the meal every so often. Also, you might have leftovers which can be used for lunch or for dinner the next night.
So here's we made a little like quick diagram here for some things, some produce that you should use first, soon, and no rush.
Foods.
So some things that you should use right away are things like fresh herbs, tomatoes, spinach, asparagus, snow peas, berries, things like that.
Foods that you should use soon after you buy them are bell peppers, broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce, mixed greens, mushrooms, zucchini, cucumbers, and green onions.
And then other ingredients that you don't really have to rush and take, you can like store them in the fridge or the pantry for a long time, are carrots, celery, lemons and limes, onions, potatoes, squash, and beets. A lot of like hearty vegetables can last longer in the fridge or in your pantry.
So after learning from this section, are there any questions that you would like to ask? All right, let's see here. Oh. So here are some tips on how to spend less money. Buy only what you know you will use. Although it's a good way to have pantry stock just in case of emergencies. Try not to overstock your pantry. Make sure you will still be able to use all of your ingredients before they go bad and you'll have to throw them out.
Another good way to spend less money is looking through the grocery store flyers before and after planning your meals. So you can look through the flyers before you start planning your meals and see what's on sale and what things you want to incorporate into your meals. And also if you've already made your meals and you have your list of groceries that you need to pick up for the week, going through the flyer and then finding what stores have them for the cheapest, if you're able to go to multiple stores, is the best way you could save money.
So be cautious of sale items. Sales can be great, but you need to be careful when it comes to sales like buy one, get one free, or other cheap deals, because you could be buying too much food than what you can eat. This may result in throwing out food. Items may be on sale because they are about to expire. So check the expiration dates to make sure you have time to use the food.
And another thing that grocery stores do, there's lots of convenient items, and those can sometimes be more expensive. So you need to be a little cautious when you are buying convenient items, especially like if you're just doing them because you don't need them. Like if you need pre-chopped vegetables because you can't chop them yourself, obviously go ahead and buy those vegetables. But like if you're able to do it yourself, you're going to save money in the long run. So if you're able to shred your cheese, buy a block of cheese instead because it's going to be less expensive than a block of cheese and things like that.
And lastly, once you have all your meals plans out and your groceries list made, double check the pantry and your fridge to make sure you're not buying something that you already have.
All right, so now we're going to look at how to reduce your food waste. So a great way to do this is by cleaning out your pantry, fridge, and freezer regularly. I try and do it every like 3 to 4 months. I like do like a really good clean through because there's lots of things that get pushed to the back that you don't know about or you just forget about. Things like that. So this allows you to spend less money because then you're able to incorporate the foods that you can see that are gonna expire soon, so then you're able to use them faster.
Buying foods with a longer shelf life. If you know that you'll not be eating foods right away, try buying items that have a longer shelf life. This will help reduce the amount of food being thrown out. Some examples are canned fruits and vegetables, dried pasta, rice, and root vegetables.
Another good way to reduce your food waste is if you see like things that are about to expire, you can put them in the freezer. So things like meat or bread, even cheese can be put in the freezer. It's a really good way to, if you know they're going to expire, throw it in the freezer, and then you can use it at a later date when you know you can. Most things can stay fresh in the freezer for about 3 to 4 months, depending on the product. So just keep an eye on like things that you are throwing in the freezer and try and use them up right away. But it is a good way if you see things that are going to expire soon.
So after this section, does anybody have any questions? And if so, that you can just click the microphone to unmute and ask away.
So no one had a question, but I believe BZ or BZ mentioned in the chat, she said, or they said, I know stuff like beans, surprisingly, are no more expensive canned than to buy them dry in a bag because the unit price for a bag is less money. That's a good point, BZ.
That is a very good point. Especially if you know how to make your own baked beans or things like that, like that can be very helpful.
So, how to prepare your ingredients for the week. Having meals already prepped and cooked can be very helpful throughout a busy week. Sunday is usually the best day to prepare your snacks, meals for the week so that you're ready to go.
So if you wash and chop your vegetables and put them in Tupperware containers, this is like the best way to keep them fresh, and especially things like berries and like even like carrots and stuff like that. If you keep them in Tupperware containers, they actually last longer than they would if you just keep them in the plastic containers. So it's really beneficial, especially right now with COVID, coming home and giving your vegetables and fruits like a really good wash and then putting them in like other Tupperware container, and then it'll keep fresh longer. Also, it usually gives you more space in your fridge because you can organize things better.
If you are someone who takes lunch to work or to school, making a lunch for the night before or making a few lunches a few days in advance will help make your mornings go a bit smoother.
So I know breakfast is like a meal that a lot of people skip usually, and I know it's because some people are busy or they just don't like breakfast, things like that. But preparing breakfast items beforehand can be really beneficial, especially if you are one of those people that get up and you don't have time for breakfast in the morning. So things that you can just grab on your way out the door are really beneficial. So things like muffins are really good, or even egg cups are really good. You can make those in advance and store those in the fridge, or even you can pre-make smoothies. Like you can prepare them so you can do your bananas and your fruit or in like little baggies and put those in the freezer. And then when you're in the morning, just pop everything in the blender and then put your liquid of choice like milk, almond milk, any type of fruit juice, anything like that, blend it together and you have a smoothie in under 5 minutes.
So
I don't, this isn't really a question, but something I like to do is because I know fresh fruit, it can be like expensive and I don't use it all the time. So sometimes I just like to buy a frozen bag and it will last me like a few weeks, and I'll just like make some toast with peanut butter and then unthaw the fruit and put it on the toast. And I mean, it's a simple breakfast for me, but it's really cheap and I find it's better than like having big things of fruit that I'd have to get at the fresh produce and have it go to waste. So for me, stuff like that is a lot cheaper option.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Also, like if you see that your strawberries or even your bananas are going bad, like you can also throw those in the freezer as well. Just make sure if you're doing strawberries, like maybe like top the strawberries, like cut off the stems. And a really good tip if you're going to freeze your bananas is pre-peel them, because it's really hard to peel the bananas once they're actually frozen. So if you peel the bananas and put them in a baggie and then freeze them, then they store really well. Are there any other questions or comments anyone has?
if anyone thinks of any questions or comments, you can always email, Megan and Brad. So I know they've sent a few emails out already, but don't hesitate to send a quick email or to chat or to put anything in the Zoom chat box. This is a safe space where you can ask any question.
Yeah, if you're also like you're not comfortable speaking out loud, just type in the chat and we can talk about that as well. Well, if anyone has any, like Caitlin said, if anyone has any questions or suggestions, you can always email us and we can send out a little email to everybody else for people's tips and tricks. But if there's no other questions, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It was so nice to see you all. I'm excited for the next 4 weeks of our Fresh Eats. I also just quickly want to remind anybody, if you have not responded to the email around the e-transfers or the menus yet, could you please do that, because we will be sending out e-transfers on Friday so that you guys can get your groceries and we can be ready to cook for Wednesday. So if there's any other questions that anyone has, feel free to let us know. But other than that, we will see you next Wednesday and we'll be making sloppy joes. Right, thank you everyone. Have a good night.